The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never been so quiet. 500 alien delegates sat in their floating chairs, watching the empty space where humans were supposed to appear. The blue light above the communication platform blinked 3 times. Then the air shimmered. Admiral Hyunwoo Park stepped through the light like he was walking through water. His dark uniform was clean and pressed. Behind him came General So Young Kim and Fleet Commander Dongmin Lee. All 3 humans looked calm. Too calm. The aliens in the hall shifted in their seats. The Vorthak delegates pulled their scaled necks closer to their bodies. Their yellow eyes darted between the humans and the exits. The Nexari representatives, made of living crystal, dimmed their inner light. Even the gas cloud Threnody seemed to move slower than usual. Chancellor Veltak of the Vorthak hegemony stood up first. His 6-foot frame towered over most other aliens, but somehow he looked small next to the 3 humans. He raised his clawed hands in the old gesture of peace. His voice was steady, but his translator made it sound nervous. "Admiral Park," Veltak said, "we are grateful you came. The war has gone on too long. Too many have died on both sides. We must find a way to end this fighting." Admiral Park did not move. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the alien leaders like they were insects under glass. The silence stretched until it became uncomfortable. Then it became painful. "You want to talk about death," Admiral Park said finally. His voice was quiet, but it carried to every corner of the huge hall. "How interesting." Behind the humans, the air shimmered again. Holographic screens appeared, floating in the space above their heads. The images were clear and bright. Too bright. The first image showed a planet. Blue oceans, white clouds, green continents. It looked peaceful. Beautiful even. Text appeared below the image. New Sol colony, population 2.3 million. Then the image changed. The planet was still there, but wrong. The oceans were dark red. The clouds were black and thick. Where the green continents used to be, there were only gray craters. Glass craters that reflected the dying sun. "This was 3 years ago," Admiral Park said. His voice had not changed, but something cold had entered it. "Your fleets did this in 4 hours. More images appeared. A space station with families waving from the windows. Then the same station, twisted metal floating in the dark. A farming world with golden fields stretching to the horizon. Then that same world, its soil turned to radioactive ash. Hanbok Prime," Admiral Park continued. 50,000 farmers. Their only weapons were plows and seed spreaders. The Nexari speaker tried to interrupt. Its crystal body flashed with quick light patterns. The translator made clicking sounds as it worked. "Admiral, we must consider the strategic situation at that time. Humanity was expanding too quickly. The Council voted that immediate action was... The Council voted to murder children," General So Young Kim said. She stepped forward, and her boots clicked on the metal floor. "Shall we see those votes?" New images appeared. These were from the Council's own records. The voting session from 3 years ago. Alien delegates raising their hands, tentacles, and energy fields to approve Operation Clean Slate. The plan to stop human expansion by destroying human colonies. Fleet Commander Dongmin Lee spoke for the first time. His voice was like ice. "You voted to kill every human man, woman, and child on 47 worlds. You called it pest control." Chancellor Veltak's scales had turned pale yellow, the color of fear in his species. That language was unfortunate, but you must understand humanity was growing too fast. Your species takes resources, builds cities, changes entire worlds. "We had to act before, but before what?" Admiral Park asked. "Before we became a threat to your empires?" The holographic images changed again. Now they showed human children playing in parks, human scientists sharing their research with alien colleagues, human traders bringing food to hungry alien colonies during the Proxima famine. "These were the humans you feared," General Kim said. "Children, teachers, doctors, farmers." The alien delegates were quiet now. Some of them remembered those days. Before the war, humans had been helpful neighbors. Strange neighbors, yes. They built too fast and asked too many questions. But they had never attacked anyone. The vote was close, Admiral Park continued. 47% wanted peace talks. 31% wanted trade restrictions. 22% wanted complete extermination. He paused. The exterminators won. The Threnody Collective's representative tried to speak. Its gas form swirled in patterns that meant regret in their language. "The decision was made in fear," the translator said for the Threnody. "Perhaps we were wrong. But that is the past. We must think of the future now." Admiral Park smiled. It was not a nice smile. The future, he repeated. Yes, let's talk about the future. The holographic displays changed one more time. Now they showed star maps. Red zones marked the areas where human colonies used to be. Green zones showed where alien fleets were stationed now. Blue zones marked neutral space. But there was something wrong with the map. The green zones were much smaller than they should be. The blue zones were mostly gone, and there were new zones marked in gold, lots of them. This is the galaxy today, Fleet Commander Lee explained. The gold zones are under human control. The alien delegates stared at the map. 3 years ago, humans had controlled maybe 50 star systems. Now the golden zones covered more than 300 systems, and they were still growing. How is this possible? Chancellor Veltok whispered. You taught us something important, Admiral Park said. You taught us that the galaxy respects only one thing, strength. General Kim stepped closer to the holographic projector. When you burned our worlds, you thought we would break. You thought the survivors would beg for mercy. You thought wrong. The images showed human fleets now, ships that looked nothing like the simple exploration vessels from before the war. These were warships, sleek and dark and covered in weapons that the aliens had never seen before. We learned from our mistakes, Admiral Park said. Our biggest mistake was trusting you. The alien delegates were starting to understand. The humans had not come here to surrender. They had not come to beg for peace. They had come to deliver a message. You want to end the war? Admiral Park continued. You want to stop the fighting. You want your fleets to come home safely. He walked closer to Chancellor Veltok. The alien was tall, but Admiral Park looked up at him without fear. But we remember, the Admiral said softly. We remember every world you burned. Every ship you destroyed. Every human who died screaming your names. The hall was completely silent now. Even the air recycling system seemed to have stopped working. You started this war because you were afraid of what humans might become, Admiral Park said. Now you're going to find out. Behind him, General Kim and Fleet Commander Lee stood like statues. Waiting. Ready. So yes, Admiral Park said, stepping back from the trembling alien leader. Let's talk about peace. Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about what happens when you teach humans that the only way to survive is to become the strongest thing in the galaxy. The holographic displays went dark. But the 3 humans remained, standing in the blue light of the communication platform, waiting for the aliens to understand that the war was not ending. It was just beginning. Dr. Ji-Hoon Choi walked forward slowly. His left leg dragged a little with each step. The scar tissue on the right side of his face caught the light from the holographic displays. Half of his hair had never grown back after the burns. The alien delegates watched him approach. They had seen his file. Before the war, Dr. Choi had been humanity's leading expert on alien biology. He had spent 15 years studying their cultures, learning their languages, writing papers about peaceful cooperation between species. Now he was one of only 300 survivors from Hanbok Prime. I was there when your fleets came, Dr. Choi said. His voice was calm, like he was giving a lecture to students. I want you to see what I saw. The holographic displays came alive again. This time the images were not from space. They were taken from the ground. By security cameras and personal recording devices, the aliens could see a human city on a bright morning. Children walking to school, people going to work, normal life happening everywhere. Then the sky changed. Dark shapes appeared between the clouds. Huge ships that blocked out the sun. The Vorthak dreadnoughts were beautiful in their own way. Long and sleek, covered in scales that matched their builders. They hung in the air like sleeping dragons. For a moment, nothing happened. People on the ground pointed up at the ships. Some took pictures. Children waved, thinking the alien visitors might wave back. We thought you had come to visit, Dr. Choi said. Hanbok Prime was a farming world. We grew food that we shared with hungry colonies. Your people had eaten our grain during the Proxima famine. The first beam of light came from the lead dreadnought. It was bright blue and beautiful. It touched down in the center of the city like a finger of lightning. For a second, nothing happened. Then the buildings started to melt. The aliens in the council hall watched in silence as the human city died. The beam weapons didn't just destroy things. They turned metal to liquid, stone to powder, living things to ash. People tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The first attack lasted 30 minutes, Dr. Choi continued. You destroyed all the cities, all the spaceports, all the communication centers. But you weren't done. The images changed. Now they showed Nixari fighters, small and fast like silver insects. They swarmed down from the burning sky hunting for survivors. Their weapons were different from the Vorthak beams. They fired crystalline shards that cut through anything. Dr. Choi paused the recording as a Nixari fighter flew low over a group of human children. The children were running across a field, trying to reach the forest. Their teacher, a young woman, was herding them along like a mother bird protecting her chicks. That teacher was named Min Ai, Dr. Choi said quietly. She taught first grade. She could speak 3 alien languages. She wanted to be a diplomat when she grew up. The recording resumed. The Nixari fighter fired once. The crystalline shards cut through the teacher and 4 of the children like they were made of paper. The surviving children kept running. They were crying now, but they kept running. The fighter turned and came back. It took 47 minutes to hunt down all the children in that field, Dr. Choi said. The pilot was very thorough. Chancellor Veltak made a sound like a sick animal. Doctor, please. We know mistakes were made, but bringing up these painful memories will not help us find peace. Dr. Choi turned to look at him. The burned side of his face was completely expressionless, but his good eye was bright with something that might have been amusement. Mistakes? He repeated. Is that what you call it? Captain Min Ho Yang stepped forward. He had been quiet until now, but his uniform showed the badges of a tactical analyst. Numbers and logistics were his specialty. Let me show you the timeline, Captain Yang said. The holographic display changed to show a military schedule, neat columns of numbers and times. Day 1, Hour 0. Vorthak dreadnoughts begin orbital bombardment of population centers. Target priority: schools, hospitals, residential areas. Day 1, Hour 2. Nixari fighters deployed for ground hunting. Target priority: children and elderly, anyone who cannot fight back. Day 1, Hour 6. Threnody gas weapons released in evacuation centers. Target priority: family groups hiding underground. Captain Yang looked around the council hall. Some of the alien delegates were trying not to watch the display. Others stared at it like they were seeing it for the first time. This was not a military operation, Captain Yang continued. This was planned genocide. You studied our biology. You learned what would hurt us most. Then you did exactly that. The images showed Threnody gas clouds seeping into underground shelters. Families had gathered there, thinking they would be safe from the orbital bombardment. Parents held their children close as the deadly gas crept down the stairs. Dr. Choi started walking again, his damaged leg dragging behind him. I was in Research Lab 7 when the attack began. We had 17 different alien species working with us. Vorthak, Nixari, Threnody, even some of the smaller races. He paused by Chancellor Veltak's chair. Your people worked beside us every day. They knew our children's names. They had been to our homes for dinner. The holographic display showed the research lab. Humans and aliens working together, sharing equipment, discussing discoveries. It looked peaceful, happy even. When your fleets arrived, I thought there had been a mistake, Dr. Choi continued. I called the Vorthak research team leader. His name was Korthnal. He had been my friend for 8 years. Dr. Choi's voice didn't change, but something cold entered his good eye. Korthnal told me it wasn't a mistake. He told me the council had decided that humans were too dangerous to live. He said he was sorry, but orders were orders. Then he shot me in the face and left me to burn. The alien delegates were very quiet now. Some of them remembered Korthnal. He had been a respected scientist, known for his careful research and gentle manner. Commander Boram Shin appeared beside Dr. Choi. She was younger than the others, but her uniform showed combat ribbons. Lots of them. The attack lasted 3 days, Commander Shin said. You were very careful to make sure no humans escaped. You had blockades around the entire system. When evacuation ships tried to leave, you hunted them down. New images appeared. Human transport ships, old and slow, trying to flee the burning planet. Families crowded into cargo holds. Children crying for their parents. Then the alien warships appeared, fast and deadly. This ship carried 2,000 refugees, Commander Shin pointed to one image. Mostly children from the northern continent. They were almost to the jump point when a Vorthak destroyer caught them. The recording showed what happened next. The destroyer didn't just blow up the transport ship. It caught it with tractor beams and pulled it apart slowly, piece by piece. The aliens could see human figures floating in space, tiny and helpless. The destroyer crew took pictures, Commander Shin added. They uploaded them to the Vorthak military network with the message, "Pest control complete." Dr. Choi had reached the center of the council hall now. He stood under the Great Seal of the Galactic Council, surrounded by floating holographic images of human death. 47 worlds, he said simply. 230 million human beings. You killed them all in 6 weeks. He looked around the hall, his damaged face calm and patient. You called it Operation Clean Slate. The plan was to erase humanity completely. No survivors. No witnesses. No evidence that we had ever existed. The Nexari speaker's crystal body flickered with nervous light. Dr. Choi, you must understand. The council was afraid. Human expansion was unprecedented. Your species reproduces quickly, builds extensively, consumes resources at an alarming rate. Dr. Choi nodded like the speaker had said something wise. You were afraid of what we might become. He agreed. So you decided to kill us all before we could become it. He gestured to the images floating around him. Human cities burning, human children dying, human families torn apart by alien weapons. But you made one small mistake in your perfect plan. The alien delegates leaned forward. Even through their fear, they were curious. Dr. Choi smiled. It was a terrible smile, made worse by the scars on his face. You didn't kill all of us. The holographic images changed one last time. Now they showed the survivors. Not many of them. A few thousand humans scattered across the galaxy, refugees who had been off-world when the attacks came, scientists working on distant research stations, traders who had been between star systems. We learned something from you, Dr. Choi said softly. We learned that mercy is weakness. We learned that trust is dangerous. We learned that the only way to survive in this galaxy is to be stronger than everyone else. He looked directly at Chancellor Veltak. Thank you for the lesson. We learned it very well. The burned scientist turned and walked back toward the other humans. His damaged leg dragged behind him, but he moved with the patience of someone who had all the time in the world. Now, Dr. Choi said as he reached Admiral Park's side, let us show you what humanity has become. Lieutenant Colonel Jae Sung-oh stepped into the light. Unlike the others, he looked young. Too young to be a military officer. Too young to have lived through the genocide. But his eyes were old, ancient. The eyes of someone who had seen too much and remembered all of it. I was 12 years old when your fleets came to New Seoul, he said to the alien delegates. My little sister was 7. Her name was Hana. The holographic display shifted again. This time they showed a human boy hiding in the ruins of what used to be a school. The building was half melted, its walls running like water. The boy clutched a smaller girl against his chest. Both children were covered in ash and blood. We hid in the basement for 4 days, Lieutenant Colonel Oh continued. Hana kept asking when Mom and Dad were coming home. I kept telling her they would be there soon. He paused, watching the recording of his younger self. The boy on the screen was trying to feed the little girl some crackers he had found. She was too scared to eat. On the 5th day, a Threnody patrol found us. They were hunting for survivors. Making sure the job was complete, the image changed. Gas clouds seeped into the basement. The boy grabbed his sister and ran for the stairs. Behind them, the yellow gas ate through everything it touched. Metal, concrete, flesh. It didn't matter. Hana couldn't run as fast as me, Lieutenant Colonel O said. The gas caught her leg. I watched my sister dissolve from the ankle up. She kept apologizing. She thought it was her fault for being slow. The alien delegates were very still. Even the Threnody representative had stopped moving. Its gas form hung in the air like a guilty cloud. I carried what was left of her for 3 kilometers. Then I buried her next to a melted playground and started walking. The young officer looked around the council hall. His face was calm, but something burned behind his eyes. I walked for 67 days. I ate insects and drank rainwater. I hid from your patrol ships during the day and moved at night. I was trying to reach the spaceport. I thought maybe someone would come looking for survivors. The holographic display showed human rescue ships arriving at the dead world. Small ships moving carefully between the debris fields. They were looking for anyone left alive. The rescue ships found 43 survivors on New Seoul, out of 2.3 million people. Lieutenant Colonel O stepped closer to the alien delegates. You want to know what those 43 survivors did next? We talked, we planned. We remembered every detail of how you killed our families, and then we got to work. Dr. Yoonji Nam appeared beside him. She was older, maybe 50, with gray hair and steady hands. Her uniform showed the badges of a senior research scientist. But there were other badges too. Weapons development, combat engineering, Technologies that hadn't existed before the war. The survivors didn't just grieve, Dr. Nam explained. We studied every piece of alien technology we could find, every weapon that had been used against us, every ship design, every tactical manual, every piece of equipment your armies left behind. New images appeared. Human scientists working in hidden laboratories. They were taking apart alien weapons, learning how they worked, figuring out how to make them better. Your technology was impressive, Dr. Nam admitted, but it had been designed by people who fought wars for territory and resources. You fought to control things. You had never fought a war where the goal was survival itself. The display showed human engineers building new kinds of weapons, devices that looked nothing like the clean, elegant tools the aliens were used to. These weapons were ugly and brutal and effective. We learned to build weapons that didn't just destroy ships, Dr. Nam continued. We built weapons that destroyed the will to fight. We studied your psychology, your biology, your fears. Then we weaponized all of it. Captain Wu Jinhan stepped forward. His uniform was different from the others, darker. The badges on his chest showed special operations, black missions, things that happened in deep space where no one could witness them. The first human counterattack came 8 months after the genocide, Captain Han said. We hit a Vorthak supply convoy near the Kepler system, 12 cargo ships, 2 escort destroyers. The holographic display showed the battle. It was not like the alien attacks on human worlds. This was surgical, precise. The human ships appeared from nowhere, struck like lightning, and vanished back into the dark. We didn't try to capture the ships, Captain Han explained. We didn't try to steal the cargo. We did something your military planners had never considered. The images showed what happened to the Vorthak convoy. The human ships disabled the engines first, then the communications, then the life support. They left the aliens floating helpless in dead ships, knowing that rescue would come eventually. We left one ship intact. Captain Han continued, with one survivor. We gave him a message to take back to your fleets. Chancellor Veltak leaned forward. What message? Captain Han smiled. It was not a nice smile. We told him that for every human who died in the genocide, we would kill 1,000 aliens. We told him that we would not stop until every alien military in the galaxy was destroyed. We told him that we had learned patience from the dead. The alien delegates were starting to understand. This was not a normal war. Normal wars ended when one side gave up or ran out of resources. This war would only end when one side was completely destroyed. Your military commanders didn't believe the message at first, Captain Han continued. They thought we were bluffing. They thought 43 survivors couldn't threaten 3 galactic empires. Engineering Corps Chief Suman Kang appeared next to the tactical displays. Her uniform showed construction badges but also demolition certifications. She had built things. She had also torn them down. The aliens were right about one thing, Chief Kang said. 43 humans couldn't fight 3 empires. So we didn't stay 43 humans. The holographic display changed again. This time it showed human refugee camps scattered across neutral space. Thousands of humans who had been off-world during the genocide. Traders, diplomats, scientists, workers. People who had lost everything but were still alive. We found them all, Chief Kang explained. Every human survivor in the galaxy. We brought them together. We told them what had happened to their families, their worlds, their future. The images showed the refugees' faces when they learned the truth. Shock first, then grief, then something colder and harder than ice. 17,000 survivors, Chief Kang continued. From farmers to quantum physicists, from ship mechanics to university professors, all of them with nothing left to lose. The display showed human settlements springing up in hidden asteroid fields, not refugee camps, something else. Military bases, research stations, factories that worked day and night building tools of war. We gave them a choice, Chief Kang said. They could try to rebuild their old lives, find new homes, start families, forget what happened. She paused. Or they could help us make sure it never happened again. The alien delegates watched as the human refugee camps transformed into something else. Military academies, weapons laboratories, ship construction facilities, all hidden in the dark spaces between stars where alien patrols never went. 17,000 humans chose war, Chief Kang said simply. They gave up everything. Love, peace, happiness, normal life. They chose to become living weapons aimed at your empires. Lieutenant Colonel O stepped back into the light. We studied your tactics, your strategies, your weaknesses. We learned that you fight wars to gain things. Territory, resources, political control. He looked around the council hall. But we weren't fighting to gain anything. We were fighting to lose something. Our grief, our rage, our need for justice. The holographic displays showed human fleets now. Ships that looked nothing like the exploration vessels from before the war. These ships were built for one purpose, killing aliens. Your commanders kept waiting for us to offer terms, Lieutenant Colonel O continued. They expected us to demand reparations or territory or political concessions. They couldn't understand why we never tried to negotiate. He smiled. And for a moment he looked like the 12-year-old boy who had buried his sister next to a melted playground. We never offered terms because we don't want anything from you. We want you gone. The silence in the council hall was complete. Even the air recycling system seemed afraid to make noise. Dr. Nam stepped forward again. Your empires control thousands of worlds. Billions of people. Vast resources and ancient technologies. You thought that made you strong. The holographic display showed alien worlds. Beautiful planets with gleaming cities and orbital installations. The centers of galactic civilization. But strength isn't about what you have, Dr. Nam continued. Strength is about what you're willing to sacrifice. And you taught us the most important lesson in the galaxy. She looked directly at the alien delegates. You taught us that we're willing to sacrifice everything. The images changed one final time. Human ships moving through space like schools of deadly fish, not conquering alien worlds, not stealing alien resources, just methodically, patiently, completely destroying every alien military installation they could find. The war has been going on for 3 years now, Admiral Park said, stepping back into the conversation. Your fleets have been reduced by 60%. Your military production is down by 80%. Your colonies are defenseless. Fleet Admiral Tae-hyun Lim moved like he owned the universe. His uniform was perfect, his boots polished to mirror brightness. When he walked, the sound echoed through the council hall like the footsteps of death itself. Let me show you the current strategic situation, Admiral Lim said. His voice was pleasant, almost friendly, like a teacher explaining simple math to children. The holographic displays changed to show a massive star map. 3 years ago, this map would have been mostly green for alien territory, with tiny patches of blue for human space. Now it looked like someone had spilled gold paint across half the galaxy. The Vorthak hegemony, Admiral Lim began, pointing to areas that flickered between green and gold. 3 years ago, you controlled 412 star systems. Your fleets numbered over 6,000 ships. Your empire stretched across 2 spiral arms. The map zoomed in on Vorthak space. The green zones were tiny now, scattered islands in a sea of gold. Today you control 47 systems. Your active fleet numbers approximately 300 ships. Most of them are hiding in asteroid fields trying to avoid our patrol squadrons. Chancellor Veltak's scales had turned the pale yellow of fear, but he tried to keep his voice steady. Admiral, you must understand. Our retreat was tactical. We pulled back to defend our core worlds, our most important. You pulled back because we destroyed everything else. Admiral Lim interrupted politely. Major Young-Soo Park, please show the Chancellor our casualty reports. Major Park appeared beside the tactical display. He was young, maybe 30, but his eyes held the cold calculation of someone who counted death for a living. Vorthak military losses in the last 18 months, Major Park began. 2,463 capital ships destroyed, 8,712 smaller vessels, 41 orbital defense platforms, 168 military shipyards. The numbers appeared in the air above them, glowing like accusation. Vorthak military personnel casualties, approximately 2.6 million dead, 4.1 million wounded, 700,000 missing. Chancellor Veltak made a sound like a wounded animal. Those numbers, that's impossible. Our records don't show. Your records don't show anything because we destroyed your communication network 6 months ago, Major Park explained. Most of your surviving commanders don't know what's happening outside their own systems. The star map changed to show communication lines. Before the war, the alien empires had been connected by networks of faster-than-light transmitters. Information could travel across the galaxy in hours. Now those networks looked like broken spiderwebs. We learned early that isolated enemies make mistakes, Admiral Lim said. When your commanders can't talk to each other, they can't coordinate. When they can't coordinate, they're easy to destroy. Dr. Hyejin Lee stepped forward. She wore a scientist's uniform, but her badges showed psychological warfare and xenobiology. She studied alien minds the way other people studied insects. The Nexari harmony has been more interesting, Dr. Lee said. Her voice was soft, almost gentle. Their crystal-based biology made them confident that their ships were indestructible. New images appeared. Nexari crystal ships floating in space like frozen music. They were beautiful, translucent, and graceful. Each ship was grown rather than built, shaped by Nexari artisans over decades. The Nexari believed their crystal matrices could absorb any energy weapon, Dr. Lee continued. They were mostly right. Our first attacks barely scratched their hulls. The images changed to show human ships firing at Nexari vessels. The energy beams struck the crystal hulls and disappeared, absorbed harmlessly. So we stopped using energy weapons, Dr. Lee said simply. The new images were less pleasant. Human ships firing something that looked like sound made visible. Waves of force that struck the Nexari vessels and the crystal ship shattered, not exploded, shattered, like wine glasses hit by opera singers. Resonance frequency weapons, Dr. Lee explained. Every crystal has a frequency that will destroy it. We just had to find the right note. The alien delegates watched in horror as beautiful Nexari ships came apart like puzzles. The crystals that formed their hulls cracked and split, leaving the alien crews floating in space among the glittering fragments of their homes. The Nexari Harmony has lost 93% of their fleet, Dr. Lee continued. Their home ships, the great crystal vessels that housed their government and their culture, are now debris fields. Ambassador Seok Jin Moon appeared beside the tactical displays. His uniform showed diplomatic badges but also intelligence markings. He was a man who knew secrets. The Threnody Collective has been the most challenging opponent, Ambassador Moon said. Their gas-form biology makes them difficult to target with conventional weapons. The star map shifted to show Threnody space. Unlike the other empires, this region was completely dark. No green, no gold. Just empty black. The Threnody attempted to surrender 4 months ago, Ambassador Moon continued. They sent peace envoys to our forward fleets. They offered complete disarmament and reparations. He paused. Unfortunately, their messages never reached our commanders. Chancellor Veltak leaned forward. What do you mean? Why didn't... Because we stopped listening, Ambassador Moon said simply. The Threnody used gas weapons against human children. They dissolved our families alive. So we decided they had nothing to say that we wanted to hear. The images showed Threnody gas-form beings trying to communicate with human ships. They sent signals in every frequency, every language, every diplomatic protocol in the galaxy. The human ships received the messages, analyzed them, and deleted them without response. The Threnody Collective no longer exists as a political entity, Ambassador Moon continued. Their worlds are empty. Their fleets are scattered. Some individual Threnody survive in neutral space, but their government, their culture, their identity as a people, all gone. The silence in the council hall was broken only by the quiet humming of the holographic projectors. Fleet Admiral Lim stepped back to the center of the display. Let me summarize the current situation. 3 galactic empires attempted to commit genocide against humanity. Today, those empires control less than 5% of their original territory. The star map pulled back to show the entire galaxy. The gold zone stretched like a cancer across the spiral arms. Human fleets now patrol over 800 star systems. We have established military governments on 300 alien worlds. Our shipyards are producing 200 new vessels every month. General So-Young Kim appeared beside him. Our ground forces have occupied 67 major alien colonies. In every case, we have maintained civilian infrastructure, while completely dismantling military capabilities. The images showed human soldiers on alien worlds. They weren't burning cities or killing civilians. They were methodically destroying every weapon, every military base, every piece of equipment that could be used for war. We learned from your example, General Kim explained. You taught us that total war means targeting the ability to fight, not just the will to fight. Commander Boram Shin stepped into the light. Alien civilian casualties in the war total approximately 50,000. All of them were military personnel or government officials who resisted. Disarmament. She looked around the council. I'll compare that to the 230 million humans you killed in 6 weeks. The contrast was clear. The aliens had committed genocide. The humans had committed systematic military destruction, One was the action of monsters. The other was the work of surgeons. You're wondering how this is possible, Admiral Lim said. How 17,000 human survivors defeated 3 galactic empires. He gestured to the tactical displays. You made 3 critical errors. First, you assumed that because you outnumbered us, you were stronger than us. The star map showed human fleets. They were smaller than the alien forces, but they moved with perfect coordination. Every ship knew exactly what it was supposed to do. Strength isn't about numbers, Admiral Lim continued. It's about focus. You fought to control territory. We fought to destroy your ability to fight. You divided your attention among thousands of objectives. We concentrated on one goal. Second, you assumed that because you had older technology, you had better technology. The images showed alien and human ships side by side. The alien vessels were elegant and refined, the product of centuries of gradual improvement. The human ships were ugly and brutal, designed for maximum efficiency. Your technology was designed for a galaxy at peace, Admiral Lim explained. Beautiful ships for trade and exploration. Our technology was designed by people who expected to die in every battle. Third, and most importantly, you assumed that because you started the war, you could control how it ended. Admiral Lim's smile was cold and sharp. But we don't want to control anything. We want to finish what you started. The holographic displays went dark for a moment. Then new images appeared, human fleets moving toward the remaining alien worlds. Not conquering, not occupying, just approaching with the patience of predators. The war will end when every alien military in the galaxy has been destroyed, Admiral Lim said quietly. It will end when every alien government that voted for genocide has been replaced by one that understands the price of threatening humanity. He looked directly at Chancellor Veltak. The alien leaders looked like broken things. Chancellor Veltak's scales had turned the gray color of despair. The Nexari speaker's crystal body flickered weakly, its inner light dim and uncertain. Even the Threnody representative seemed smaller, its gas form compressed with fear. Please, Chancellor Veltak whispered, we surrender. Complete surrender. We offer full reparations for the damage we caused. Territory, resources, technology, whatever you want. Admiral Park stood silent for a long moment, watching the alien leader beg. Around him, the other humans waited with the patience of people who had all the time in the universe. You offer us things, Admiral Park said finally. Territory that we're already taking. Resources that we've already claimed. Technology that we've already surpassed. He stepped closer to the trembling Chancellor. What makes you think we want anything from you? The Nexari speaker's crystal body flashed with desperate light patterns. Admiral, surely you must see that continued warfare benefits no one. Our civilian populations are suffering. Billions of innocent beings who had no part in the decision to attack humanity. General In-Ho Kwan appeared beside Admiral Park. His uniform showed the badges of a military psychologist, someone who understood how war affected minds, but his eyes held something darker. The cold calculation of someone who had studied the aliens' own records. Innocent? General Kwan repeated. Let me show you something interesting. The holographic displays came alive with documents. Voting records from the alien governments. Not just the military commands, but civilian approval ratings, public opinion polls, news broadcasts from alien worlds. When your fleets attacked human colonies, 67% of Vorthak civilians approved. General Kwan read from the floating data. Nexari civilian support reached 74%. Threnody approval was even higher at 82%. The documents showed alien news broadcasts celebrating the cleansing of human space. Civilian commentators discussing how much safer the galaxy would be. Without the human plague, children's shows explaining why the dangerous humans had to be stopped. Your civilians weren't innocent, General Kwan continued. They were enthusiastic participants in genocide. Chancellor Veltak's voice cracked as he tried to respond. That was propaganda. Government control of information. The people didn't understand. The people understood perfectly, General Kwan interrupted. They understood that killing humans would make more resources available for alien use. They understood that human expansion threatened alien dominance. They chose genocide because it was convenient. Commander Ji-Won Song stepped forward. She was younger than the others, maybe 25, but her uniform showed the badges of a strategic planner. Someone who thought about the future. You want to know what humanity's terms are? Commander Song asked. Very well. Let me be specific. New images appeared in the holographic display, a document written in simple, clear language. No diplomatic double talk. No complicated treaties. Just a list of requirements. First, complete military disarmament of all alien governments that participated in the genocide. Every weapon destroyed. Every warship scrapped. Every military base dismantled. The alien delegates stared at the terms in horror. Without military forces, their governments would be helpless. Second, human oversight of alien weapons development for the next 500 years. No alien government may develop, manufacture, or deploy military technology without human approval. 500 years. The Nexari speaker gasped. That's 20 generations. Our children's children will never know freedom. Commander Song's expression didn't change. Your children's children will be alive. That's more than you offered ours. Third, reparations equal to the complete terraforming and colonization of 200 new human worlds. Payment to be made in raw materials, technology, and labor over the next 2 centuries. Chancellor Veltak made a sound like a dying animal. 200 worlds? That would bankrupt our entire civilization. Our people would live in poverty for generations. Your people will live, Commander Song said simply. Again, that's more than you offered ours. Fourth, establishment of human military bases on every alien world with a population over 10 million. These bases will be permanent and will monitor compliance with all treaty terms. The silence in the council hall was deafening. You're talking about permanent occupation, the Threnody representative finally managed to say through its translator. You want to turn our worlds into prisons. General Kim stepped into the conversation. We're talking about making sure this never happens again. You taught us that trust is dangerous, so we won't trust you. Admiral Park activated a new holographic display. This one showed names, billions of them, scrolling slowly through the air like falling snow. These are the humans you killed, Admiral Park said quietly. Every name, every person, every life you decided didn't matter. The names scrolled past in perfect order. Children first, their ages listed beside their names. Mine, age 7, Hana, age 7, Young-ho, age 9. Thousands upon thousands of children who would never grow up. This is Su Jin, Admiral Park said, stopping the scroll on one name. She was 4 years old. She was killed by Threnody gas weapons while hiding in an evacuation shelter with her grandmother. The image of a little girl appeared beside her name. She was laughing, playing with toy blocks that spelled out alien words. She had been learning Vorthak language in her preschool class. This is Daehyun, Admiral Park continued. He was 16. He wanted to be a diplomat. He was killed by Nexari crystal shards while trying to protect his younger siblings. Another image, a teenage boy holding 2 small children, shielding them with his body as death fell from the sky. This is Min Seo. She was 34. A teacher. She died in orbital bombardment while evacuating her students. She could speak 7 alien languages fluently. A woman's face appeared. Kind eyes, gentle smile. She had spent her life trying to build bridges between species. The names kept scrolling. Engineers who had designed life support systems for alien colonies. Doctors who had treated alien patients during the Proxima Plague. Artists who had created beautiful works celebrating galactic unity. All dead. You didn't just kill humans, Admiral Park said. You killed the future. Every friendship that might have been. Every discovery that might have been made. Every song that might have been sung. Every child that might have been born. The alien delegates were crying now. Some species cried with water, others with light, others with scent. The council hall filled with the smell and sound and sight of alien grief. We're sorry, Chancellor Veltak sobbed. We're so sorry. We were wrong. We were afraid and we made terrible choices and we're sorry. Admiral Park watched the alien leader break down. His face showed no satisfaction, no joy in the alien's pain, just the cold patience of someone carrying out necessary work. You're sorry now, Admiral Park said. You're sorry because you lost. You're sorry because we're stronger than you expected. You're sorry because your plan failed. He gestured to the scrolling names. But you weren't sorry when you pulled the triggers. Dr. Choi stepped forward again, his scarred face calm in the shifting light. Let me tell you what humanity learned from this war, Dr. Choi said. We learned that the galaxy is full of species who will commit genocide when it's convenient. We learned that alien morality is conditional. We learned that the only thing that stops you from killing us is the fear that we might kill you first. The holographic display changed to show human worlds now. New colonies growing fast. Cities that gleamed with alien technology, improved by human engineering. Space stations that bristled with weapons that could destroy fleets. We also learned that we're very good at surviving. Dr. Choi continued. Better than you thought. Better than we thought. You tried to exterminate us and we turned it into a victory. The images showed human children playing in schools that had been built from the wreckage of alien warships. Human families living in homes powered by captured alien technology. Human scientists making discoveries with equipment taken from alien laboratories. Every human child born after the war will grow up knowing what you did, Dr. Choi said. They'll learn about the genocide in school. They'll see the memorial walls with the names of the dead. They'll understand that aliens can't be trusted. He looked around the council hall. Your children will grow up under human occupation, knowing that their parents tried to commit genocide and failed. They'll learn human languages in school. They'll follow human laws. They'll live or die based on human decisions. The alien delegates were very quiet now. They were beginning to understand the real price of their failure. 500 years, Dr. Choi continued. 20 generations of aliens who will never know independence. 20 generations who will be reminded every day that their ancestors chose genocide. Admiral Park stepped back to the center of the hall. You wanted to know if humans were dangerous, he said. The answer is yes. We're more dangerous than you ever imagined. But we didn't choose to be dangerous. You made us dangerous. The holographic displays showed human fleets advancing on the remaining alien worlds, not conquering, not destroying, just arriving with the weight of inevitability. You could have chosen to live in peace with us, Admiral Park continued. You could have chosen cooperation. You could have chosen to share the galaxy instead of trying to own it.